Stephen in Indianapolis. Hey, Stephen, what's on your mind today?
On a minute. Hey, thank you for taking my call.
Sure.
I am not really a conspiracy theorist. I don't like to call myself a conspiracy theorist.
But
I am wondering, I look at all the polls and everything else, or you don't even have to look at polls, but I see people that are so divided nowadays, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And do you think we could be on the verge of a second revolution?
No.
Or something like that.
No, our violent revolution. Well, actually, we've had two, arguably. You know, one was our separation from England, and the other was, you know, a group of Southerners who wanted to preserve slavery, saying that if they couldn't do that, they were going to separate from the United States. But the first one was the result of our being occupied. And, you know, I kept pointing this out during Bush's invasions of Afghanistan and Iraq, you know, where I said nobody wants their country to be occupied. We have occupied those two countries now since 2002, 2003 for Iraq. And that's like 14, 15 years. I mean, that's crazy. Nobody wants their country to be occupied. And as the people who we think of as the framers and founders, you know, this was several generations of being born on this continent. As they started thinking of themselves as North Americans rather than Europeans, they viewed the Brits as occupiers. But I think that the biggest problem that we have is the core of conservative politics is that the actual core of conservative politics is to be a complete sellout to billionaires and big corporations, to take advantage of the Supreme Court's decisions from Santa Clara County to Buckley to Bilotti to Citizens United, and own your own politician. And if you're a conservative politician, you have to be owned by somebody. I mean, it's just like that's the definition, basically. Whose pocket are you in? Virtually all the Republicans are getting enough money from the fossil fuel industry that they will deny climate change. They're getting enough money from the gun industry that they will deny that having a gun in your home raises the risk that you or your children will die. They're getting enough money from the pharmaceutical industry that they're going to fight like tooth and nail to prevent, you know, drugs from being imported from Canada, or for that matter, to prevent Medicare from being able to negotiate prices for pharmaceuticals, which would save us $600 billion every decade, $60 billion a year. So, but the problem is that that's the actual functional definition of conservative is sellout. But the problem is you can't campaign for office on that. You've got to campaign for office on something else. And so what Fox So-Called News does and Right-Wing Hate Radio does is establish grievance. And the essential core, and Stephen, thanks a lot for the call. I'm going to just go off on a rant about this. The essential core of conservatism now is grievance politics. It's, oh, those people are doing it to us, right? They are taking, you know, rich people's tax money. Oh my God, you know, they're interfering with businesses' God-given right to pour pollution into our rivers. And this has, you know, this grievance politics. Literally, I mean, it's just amazing. Louise and I do a fair amount of channel surfing, and we'll watch, you know, MSNBC, and they'll be talking about something. Usually, it's actually topical or issue-based. You flip to CNN, it's usually, you know, train wrecks and tinkly things. No Donald Trump Russia dossier jokes intended. You tune it, but you tune in to Fox, and they're reciting a grievance. You know, oh, you know, illegal aliens murdered this poor woman's son, or you know, Democrats didn't stand for the flag, or you know, it was something, right? It's a grievance. And those grievances now have become embedded in the minds of, quote, conservative voters. I call them suckers. You know, these poor people in the United States who vote for Republicans because they're convinced that those grievances are legitimate. You know, brown people are robbing and raping and pillaging, and black people are trying to take your jobs. And, oh, my God, white America, run in the other direction. And all this grievance and fear stuff. And the consequence of that is that people like shoot, as this guy did the other day in somewhere in the Midwest. What was it, Kansas? Olathe, Kansas. That's right, Olathe, Kansas. You know, shot these two Indian engineers. Dead. Well, one of them dead. You know, and the other, and you know, now people in India are going, holy cow, do not go to the United States. So this is what it leads to. And this is one of the reasons, in my opinion, why more people have been killed by right-wingers, white Christian right-wingers in the United States than by any other group since 9/11. They're killing us, literally, because they're so frightened, because Fox News and right-wing hate radio are scaring the crap out of them.